All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to be looking at completing the block support. Last time, what we did was we took and we had a little rogue little icon over here. We left clicked and we drew a blue box around that little rogue icon. We then selected it and hit the delete key. Obviously, I can't do that because it's not there. From there, we took and we offset a certain distance. This object going to the right, bless you. That unit was 1.7845. Okay, so 1.7845. The next offset that we were going to do is 1.0625. So that was this line up here to here. We then took and we offset this line over 6.25 units and this up 4.0 units. Okay, again, 6.25 and 4. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to tackle this corner right here. Obviously, we had to use the trim command in there also. When I talked about the trim command with you guys last time, did I go through like shrinking a line or stretching a line, using the cut, using fillet, and setting the radius to 0? Does that all kind of sound familiar? Okay. So this time, did I also talk about using trim and then holding the shift key? No? Yes? All right. I'll go through and remind you guys about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by creating this corner chunk. It is 1 unit tall, 0.75 units wide. So I'm just going to go into offset. So I have to go under modify, offset, type in my value of 1, select my object, give it a direction, and left click. I'm going to right click to confirm. I'm going to right click again to repeat the command. What are other options for repeating the command? Spacebar. You can also use the enter key. Either one will get you back into the same command. This time I'm going to go ahead and put 0.75. Select my object, give it a direction going to the right, and left click. Right click, confirm it. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and start trimming. So, Miss Brooke, you are in luck because guess what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to record this entire video and then I'm going to email it to you. Okay? So you can never say I never gave you anything other than the failing grade in my class. What? I will email it to everybody. Okay? But it's only going to be emailed to my 2 special students. Okay? Now it's working for you? You're going to offset. So 2 things I want you to do. Type in RE and enter on your screen and tell me what it says. Regenerate? Okay, now it's ready to work. So we're going to go. Next one is going to be 0.75. You're going to take that vertical line and offset it inward. All right, so once Brooke's caught up, we'll do the next thing. Gentlemen. Good? Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to do trim. I'm just going to use the trim command. First row, very last icon looks like a pair of scissors. I'm going to show you guys a little bit different way of using the trim command. Notice my cursor is outside of my object. What I'm going to do is I'm going to left click and hold. And I'm going to simply draw a line that kind of scribbles all over where I want to just get rid of. Okay, so I'll do that one more time for you. So I'm going to go into trim, and I'm just going to start outside of where I want to start trimming, and I'm going to just left click hold, and I can just draw a free floating line that just cuts those objects. I'm going to do the same thing again right here, left click, cut those objects. Ms. Tegan. Here? So when I offset this up, it was 1. When I offset here, it was 0.75. Okay? And those can be seen right here. Offset 1 unit up, 0.75 units over. All right, so moving forward, once Tegan's all set, we will move forward. So to get out of the command, remember it's escape or it is right click and confirm. Now the next thing that we are going to be looking at is this corner right here. We will start with the most complicated part of it so that we can finish off with the easiest part of it. So if I take a look, I need to offset this line. How far up? 1 unit. Good. Now, I don't have a dimension here because I forgot it. And that occasionally will happen in drawings. So what you have to do is you have to kind of start thinking to yourself, logically, what makes the most amount of sense. So take a look here. This is 1 unit tall. This is 2 units tall. See that distance right there? Does that distance look similar to this distance right here? So yeah, right? So chances are, if this is 1, these two have to be equal to each other. 1 divided in half is what? 0.5. So we're going to assume that this is 0.5 and that's 0.5. Good assumption, right? Okay. Now, this doesn't only happen when I create the objects. I've seen it in textbooks before. And you just have to kind of go, well, it only makes sense if it's this. Okay? So let's go back to our drawing. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back into offset. We're going to type in a unit of 1. Offset 1. Helps when you use the right icon, right? Select the object, give it a direction, right click, confirm. Now, take a look up here real quick. Do you see how this 1-inch line falls directly on that 1-inch line over there? If I was thinking of something called order of operations, basically order of operations means try to do the least amount of steps possible. What I could have done, and make sure that you do them in order so you're not having to go back or that you've painted yourself into a corner. I could have probably left this line originally and then simply started with my next offset off of this line and came back later on and trimmed it. But you guys are just learning this, so it is what it is. We can always create another line. We can always trim it. We can always extend it. We can always do whatever we need to do. So I've offset that 1 unit. I'm going to go back into the same command again, spacebar, 0.5, enter. And I'm going to offset the line that we just created 2 times. There's my first time. I'm going to select the second time, and I'm going to offset up. Say it one more time. Do it again? Sure. Offset, 0.5, enter. Select the line, give it a direction, left click. Select the line again, give it a direction, left click. Right click, confirm, or hit escape. You can also hit the space bar, I think, when you're in a command. Yep, spacebar also kicks you out. All right, so from here, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look back at our drawing. So we now have a reference line here. We have a reference line here. And we have a reference line to create this point. We need some information to create this line. Somebody tell me how many units I have to draw this or offset to create this line. 4. Where am I getting that dimension? Right here. So let's go back. Let's go with the offset again. This time I'm going to just type in offset because I'm lazy and I don't feel like finding the icon. I'm going to type in the distance of 4. Select my object, give it a direction. Right click, confirm it. I picked this line right here. If I was to offset the other way, it would be way too much. Yes, sir. Say again? Sure. Offset, 4 units, enter. Select my object, give it a direction, left click. Escape to get out of it. Next, I'm going to go into my trim. I'm going to left click down here, and I am just going to go and trim all that information off right there. I'm then going to come back, and I'm going to trim this piece here, and I'm going to trim that piece right there. Gentlemen, okay over there? When I'm all done, get out of the command. Now from here, we've got 3 steps-ish in order to complete our drawing. We have an intersecting corner right here that should help us with creating this angled line. Again, I don't know what the angle of this line is, but what I do have is I have a measurement right here that tells me where the start and where the stop point is. So we're going to go back to our drawing. We're going to take that 4.75. What command do you think we're going to use? Offset. Type in a value of 4.75, enter. Select the line, give it a direction, and left click. Cancel out of the command. Sure there is. Okay. All right. Everybody okay so far? Not too bad, right? It's basic. You're basically just rinsing and repeating over and over again with just different values. Always offsetting or always trimming. So next thing we're going to do is, guess what command? Trim. I'm going to trim off these 2 corners right here. Right click, confirm. Two things left. I'm going to use the line command. So I'm going to hit L and enter, or I can find the icon for line. If you put your eyes up here, you're going to notice I've got my cursor sitting on the intersection of 2 corners. I'm going to left click. I'm going to drag downward to the other corner and left click again. Right click and confirm it. So now I have something that looks like this. Somebody want to tell me what my next step will be? Hey, so I could trim out the inside. Now, with the web version of AutoCAD, I believe you can trim an object down to nothing. Okay, you can trim it off to nothing, but you'll notice that that was 3 clicks to get it to go to nothing, right? The as far as I am aware, in anything 2020 and older of AutoCAD on the client version, the one that would be on your computer, the desktop or the hard installed one, you cannot physically trim an object down to nothing. You're always like left with a little stub of something. So in this case, trim allowed us to remove the whole object, but it did it in 3 steps, right? What's another option for us? You got it. Brooke's right. Select down the object, select it, and hit the delete. Delete. From here, what's that? Yep. So now we have our object complete. Dominic asked a great question earlier. Do we need to put dimensions on it? And the answer is no. The dimensions are only here in this drawing to assist us with creating the drawing itself. So at this point, go ahead and do a zoom extent. Hit save. Go over to your layout. Make sure everything looks pretty good for yourself. Rahat, go pick that up. If everything looks good, the very last step that we are going to do, well, second to last step, I always lie about that. We're going to hit save, and then I'm going to go move over to the printer icon. The printer icon officially works now. So once I hit the printer icon, you're going to notice it says plot to PDF. I'm going to go ahead and click the blue button that says plot to PDF. We are going to wait until the box turns green. Box turned green. Great. You're going to see a little icon that says download the PDF. Click on it. You're going to notice it has now downloaded the file for us. The cool thing is, with it downloading the file, whatever you created the file name as, ideally you set it as last name, first name, period, plate number, that's how it downloads it. The only thing that it adds on to the end of it is layout 1. And honestly, I don't care if it says layout 1. Now you can take that assignment and you can upload it to Schoology for grading. And I just want to show you guys, this is what it looks like when it's all done. Okay. Now you're going to notice there's something that kind of went goofy with mine. Take a look up here. This should not happen. You see where my name is, my period, the date, and the drawing is? Do you see how those are like the blah type of text? They should be this fancy text. So if you open your PDF and you notice that, this is what I want you to do. In a PDF, it's not supposed to have that problem to it. But, you know, it is what it is. So go ahead and just double click on your text, click the OK button. Double click on your text, click the OK button. Okay. And it should update it. It should. Go ahead, do your plot to PDF again, and then just double check it. Mine looks like it's reverting everything. So if it's not taking it, don't worry about it. Okay. There you go. So now see how it did it? See how it updated everything to the correct look? Double check those things because those are little point value things that can cost you. This alignment, make sure that it's sitting in the correct location. If it's sitting off, just go and double click it to refresh it. Yep. From here, that's all I got for you guys.